The Ronald Reagan movie just came out, and Rotten Tomatoes are pissed. Today in this video, we are going to be reading these awful reviews that Rotten Tomatoes have left on this movie. Now, I'm a big fan of Reagan. He's not my favorite president, but I'm definitely a big fan of him. I think I put him in the B or A tier on my presidential ranking video. I read it's not his book, but I read this book on him. And it's a good book, and I cannot wait to put this up to the test on the movie. But no, I'm a big fan of Reagan. I like his movies. I actually own this one, and this is a good one. There we go. Hellcats in the Navy. It's a good movie. I like the old movies, you know. I like older movies. And that's an older one. I think that was in the 30s. But no, I like older movies. The values in the movies are typically good. Just genuinely good values. And the movies are just cinematically great. They're shot well. They look good. There's just good shots in the movies. Nowadays, movies just consist of, like, ADHD intensifying, like, shots, and things are happening every 11 seconds. There has to be an action scene every 46 seconds, or else the audience gets bored. Marvel movies are filled with just cameos, like, hey, remember this guy? That's what every Marvel movie is nowadays. And it's stupid, because people still enjoy that. I think is absolutely ridiculous. People were, like, shocked when Hugh Jackman came back to play Wolverine. It's like, wow, the dude who played Wolverine for the last 24 years came back to play Wolverine again. What a shocker. Like, wow. Like, that's the kind of simple-minded stuff that I don't understand about film. Why people are, like, surprised. Like, that's the kind of simple-minded stuff I don't understand. So in this video, we're going to be looking at this. We're going to be looking at the reviews for the Rotten Tomatoes reviews on the Reagan movie. So the movie is 2 hours and 15 minutes, which is actually kind of short for a biopic, in my opinion. At least I think. I don't watch many movies, though. I think I've definitely read more books this year than I've watched movies. I've definitely read more books. I think I've read like twice as many books as I've watched movies. I've lost count after 15. I don't know how many books I've read this year. But anyway, let's just get into this. So Rotten Tomato reviews this movie at 18% on the tomato meter. 18%. Audience score, 98. I use Rotten Tomatoes, actually. I use Rotten Tomatoes to gauge how good a movie is. But not based on what the people on Rotten Tomatoes actually say. But I try to see how far the gap is between the Rotten Tomato score and the audience score. If there's any extreme where Rotten Tomatoes is far off from the audience score, that's a good sign that the movie's either good or bad. So for this movie, the audience score is a 98, and the tomato meter is 18. So that means that this movie's probably going to be like the best movie of all time. Usually if a movie's like really bad, and the tomato meter is like 99 on Rotten Tomatoes, the audience score is like really low, that means it's a bad movie, typically. But yeah, that's why I use Rotten Tomatoes for. Now, mind you, Rotten Tomatoes rated this movie an 18, which means it's like one of the worst movies of all time. At least according to Rotten Tomatoes. Okay. American Pie on Rotten Tomatoes is like an 86. Let me see here. Oh, no. It's a 60. What is it? Did I say 86? No, I was way off. It's a 62. So it's positive. It's fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay. American Pie, by the way, the movie where one of the gags in the movie is a bunch of dudes put a camera in their room, and then they record a woman getting undressed against her will. They record her getting undressed without her knowledge. And they save the video. Okay, that's one of the funny parts. And this movie got a 62 on Rotten Tomatoes. So that just goes to show the kind of people who are on Rotten Tomatoes. The fact that Ronald Reagan movie got 18 and a movie that's actually stupid, like American Pie. American Pie is a genuinely a bad movie. That scene where they depict the girl being recorded against her will and without her knowledge, that's like no different than rape, in my opinion. The top reviewer here says, American Pie is a 1999 teen movie that pushes the limits by depicting high school teenagers with an honest portrayal on screen. Yeah, nothing more honest than a sexual assault. What a funny, ha ha ha, very funny. Sexual assault, guys, so funny. And these reviews aren't old, by the way. Okay, this review is from this year. Okay, so this is the kind of people we're dealing with. And one last gripe with this movie, because I just hate this movie so much. American Pie. I've never seen it, but I hate it so much. If you like that movie... No, actually, no. To call you retarded would be an insult to people who are actually mentally handicapped. It's disgusting. Okay? It's not funny. It's not cool. It is a bad movie. And I don't understand how anyone can like... The times were different. Sexual assault should always be wrong. I don't know why that was funny. By the way, I'm going to just get on to the main point of this video, which is the Reagan movie. So, the first one here says, it's a thin line between satire and self-parody, and more sophisticated directors than McNamara have tripped all over it. Reagan looks a bit like a berserk Saturday Night Live sketch. So, that's what Adam Naiman said. Richard here said it's a fine biopic light on subtlety. Robert here, he looks like a guy who exclusively collects Marvel comics. He says it would be too easy to rip this one apart, or rip apart this film, based on its perception of Ronald Reagan and its cringe conservative propaganda tone. There is no need to do so because the direction of the screenplay are inept, regardless of the message or intent. He gave it a 1 out of 5. He gave this movie a 1 out of 5. We have one positive review here by Tim. He rates it 3 out of 5. He writes, the movie as a whole isn't awful, and it's interesting to see Reagan's life and anti-communist crusade through the lens of his religious faith. Like I said, I haven't seen this movie, but don't really need like a spoiler warning because like it's already happened. And if the movie's spoiled for you, that's your fault because you've had however many years it's been to actually like learn about Reagan himself. So if like the movie gets spoiled for you, like that's your fault. We got another review here, Jonathan Hickman. He writes, Reagan fails by emphasizing too much and adding up too little. So one thing I hate about these reviews is that they're not giving any examples. Because they're not giving any insight, they're not giving any details or anything like that. They're just like saying buzzwords. This one doesn't even talk about the movie at all, one by Roger here. It says that for conservatives, Reagan has become Muhammad, prophet whose name no non-believer ever dare utter. 1.5 out of 4. Which, I don't understand where he's going with that. For conservatives, he's become Muhammad. Whatever, dude. I'm pretty sure the only person who's ever made that comparison is this guy right here. Is Roger Moore. I don't think there's ever been a person who's ever made that comparison in their entire life, in the span of human history. And once again, has nothing to do with the movie. He literally just judges Reagan's character. Okay. He literally judges Reagan. Well, no, he doesn't even judge Reagan. He judges conservatives. Oh, the Daily Beast right here. Nick, I don't even know how to say that last name. Don't care. Regardless of how you feel about Ronald Reagan, the president, most will be united in finding the biopic a preachy, blotting, graceless groaner. Let's not give any examples or anything. Tanner Gordon writes here, even at a ponderous 135 minutes. Wah, 135 minutes. Oof. You probably sat through a 5-hour course. Sorry that your TikTok brain couldn't handle 2 hours and 15 minutes worth of a movie. I'm so sorry that you couldn't handle that. A movie about a guy who lived 93 or 94 years, who was alive when Harriet Tubman was alive. He was born in 1911. I'm so sorry that a movie where a guy who's 93 years old was 2 hours long. A movie about a dude who lived 93 years. I'm sorry that a movie about his life is a little over 2 hours long. Was there not enough action scenes for you, little baby? Not enough action scenes for you? Not enough excitement? Not enough chase scenes? Not enough excitement? Maybe not enough nudity for you? Maybe you're one of those American Pie weirdos. I clearly don't understand that. Ponderous 2 hours? Dude, 2 hours is like a normal movie. Director Sean McNamara ineptly made effort fails to provide an actual insight into the subject, instead opting for a bluntly one-sided hagiography, which depicts Reagan as a near godlike figure. Wow. A movie about a guy who won 2 elections in an absolute landslide depicts him in a near godlike figure. Weird. It's kind of like he was really popular with people. I mean, I'm not saying that he was a godlike figure. That's obviously, not only is that heresy, but it's also not true. No one is close to God at all. But, I mean, Reagan was a phenomenal figure. He did so much in his time. He did great as a president. Sorry that this movie made him look like a good president, made him look like a good guy. Sorry that was too much for you to handle. A guy that you politically disagree with is made to look good. Sorry that you hate that. For crying out loud, Ronald Reagan had over 50% approval rating for his entire 8-year presidency. He had over 50% for 8 years. Okay, that just shows what kind of person we're dealing with here. Anyway, that's going to be the end of my video. If you like this video, give it a like, comment. I want to hear your thoughts down below, what you think about this movie. If you've seen it, what do you think about it? If you want to see more content like this, you can hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later. Peace.
In my country, I can walk into the Oval Office, I can pound the president's desk and say, Mr. President, I don't like the way you're running our country. And the Russian said, I can do that. The American said, you can? He says, yes. I can go into the Kremlin, to the General Secretary's office, pound his desk and say, Mr. General Secretary, I don't like the way President Reagan's running his country.